Hello and welcome to German Lessons with Mr. Ferguson. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Deutschunterricht mit Herrn Ferguson. In dieser Stunde lernt ihr die 10 meistverwendeten Verben auf Deutsch. In this lesson, you will learn the 10 most commonly used verbs in German. Before wir anfangen, please don't forget to like this video. Bitte klickt gefällt mir and to subscribe to my channel. Bitte vergesst nicht zu abonnieren. If you're enjoying my videos, please do consider buying me a coffee by clicking the banner now. These donations allow me to produce exciting new content whilst keeping it free to access on YouTube. Danke im Voraus. Thanks in advance. In this video, we will be looking at the top 10 most commonly used verbs in German. I won't be discussing numbers 1 and 2 on that list, which are haben, to have, and sein, to be, as I've already covered these in other videos. If you haven't seen those videos yet, it's a good idea to start by watching my haben video by clicking the banner now. In the following list of verbs, I'm going to be introducing them in the form known as the infinitive. An infinitive is the form of a verb that you find in a dictionary. That is to say, it's the default version of that verb, and it will need to be changed in some way, conjugated, before we can use it. To make sure we're clear, a verb is a doing word, such as to go, or to be, or to jump, as well as forms such as fighting, learning, and smiling, as well as past tense forms like walked, danced, and jumped. The most commonly overlooked verb is to be, as it requires no effort for us to exist, and so we don't think of it as a doing word. The first verb we're going to look at here is to do, which in German is machen. This verb also means to make, and so this is a 2-for-1. Machen is a regular verb, meaning it will be given what I call the S1010 endings, depending on the pronoun being used, when it's used in the present tense. If you aren't sure what I mean by regular verbs or S1010, please go back and watch my video on regular verbs by clicking the banner in the top right corner now. Here are 3 examples of machen in context, using the present, future, and conditional tenses. Ich mache meine Hausaufgaben. I do or I am doing my homework. Wir werden Fotos machen. Literally, we will make photos, but this means we will take photos in German. Ich möchte Essen machen. I would like to make dinner. Number 4 on the top 10 list is sagen, to say. Sagen is also regular. Was sagst du? What are you, informal singular, saying, or what do you say? Ich werde das nicht sagen. I will not say that. Was möchte sagen? What would he like to say? Verb number 5 in the list is to go. This is mostly translated as gehen in German, though this implies going by foot or walking. Gehen is also regular in the present tense. Wir gehen in die Stadt. We go or we are going into town. Wirst du nach Hause gehen? Will you go home? Sie möchte zur Schule gehen. She would like to go to school. You can also translate to go as fahren in German. We use this to imply travelling using a vehicle. The way I like to remember it is if you're travelling far, you want to use a vehicle, and so you use fahren. Fahren is a strong verb, so if you're not sure what one of those is, I would recommend that you go back and watch my strong verbs video by clicking the banner now. Fahren has a stem change of A to A umlaut in the present tense. Ich fahre Rad. I go by bike, or I cycle, or I am cycling. Fährt nach Deutschland. He is going, as in driving, to Germany. Ich werde schnell fahren. I will go quickly, or I will drive quickly. Möchtest du mit dem Zug fahren? Would you like to go by train? The 6th verb in the list is kann, or to be able to, which is translated as können in German. This is what's known as a modal verb, which has its own set of rules. If you want to know more about modal verbs, you can go back and watch my modal verbs video by clicking the banner now. Here are some examples of können in context. Ich kann Auto fahren. I can drive a car. Ich werde das machen können. I will be able to do that. Ich möchte Klavier spielen können. I would like to be able to play the piano. Verb number 7 is to get, which is bekommen. This is a regular verb, which is also known as a false friend, because it makes you think of the English verb to become. Be careful of this, and remember that there is a difference between to get, as in to receive, i.e., I get the money, and to get, as in to become, i.e., I am getting fat. Bekommen should be thought of as to receive, so that the meaning is always clear. Wir bekommen das Geld. We are getting the money. Wird ein Geschenk bekommen. He will get a present. Ich möchte einen Computer bekommen. I would like to get a computer. Verb number 8 in the list is would, which is actually a much more complicated verb to use in German. And for that reason, I would just encourage you to learn the following phrases rather than worrying too much about the complexities of this verb. Ich würde. I would. Würdest du? Would you in an informal singular sense? Oder sie würde. He or she would. Wir würden. We would. Würdet ihr? Would you in an informal plural sense? Würden sie? Would you in a formal sense? Sie würden. They would. Similarly to modal verbs, these sentences would need an infinitive at the end. For example, ich würde ins Kino gehen. I would go to the cinema. Verb number 9 is to make, which has conveniently already been covered by machen. The 10th verb on the list, and the last one we're going to look at today, is to know. This also has two versions in German. The first is wissen, which is an unusual verb. This conjugates as follows. Ich weiß, I know. Du weißt, you know in an informal singular sense. Sie und es weiß, he, she or it knows. Wir wissen, we know. Ihr wisst, you know in an informal plural sense. And sie wissen, you formal or they know. We use wissen to mean to know when we know something for a fact. And here are some examples. Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. Wird das Geheimnis nie wissen. He will never know the secret. Ich möchte das wissen. I would like to know that. The other version of to know is kennen, a regular verb which is used to show familiarity based on experience. For example, ich kenne diesen Mann nicht. I don't know this man. Wir werden bald die Frau kennen. We will soon know the woman. Möchtest du mich wirklich kennen? Would you like to really know me? So, those are the top 10 most frequently used verbs in German, which will really help you to get started in A1 to A2 beginners German. It's a good idea to pause the video now to have all the top 10 verbs in the same place, as well as their examples in context. Was möchtet ihr bald lernen? What would you like to learn soon? Are there any other burning topics of grammar or vocabulary that you'd like me to cover in my upcoming videos? If you have any suggestions of topics, vocabulary or grammatical constructions that I haven't yet covered, please do add them in a comment below. Bitte schreibt einen Kommentar. Also, please don't forget to click subscribe to receive all of my German lesson videos, language learning tips and updates. You can also follow me on Instagram with the username Herr Ferguson and on Twitter under @Herr Ferguson. Otherwise, from me, it's Danke und auf Wiedersehen.